Welcome to another Dispill informational video. Today we'll be taking a look at the technical aspects for the client server. These videos are mostly made for tech support or anyone that is managing the machines on site at the pharmacy. So that could be just a tech or a pharmacist for a small independent pharmacy. It could be a medium pharmacy with an IT tech, or it could be a large company with an IT team. This is just the technical aspects of it so that people know where the data is, how everything works, problems you could run into, and why. So the first thing you need to do is to check the version that you're running. Obviously, the version is down here, right here in the menu. So if you have a version that has one digit as the first number, that'll be a standalone. And if you have one that has two digits, like this, that starts with 10 or 11, that means you are in client server. Client server means you have a host database on one computer, and that host computer feeds all the information to all your other workstations so that they stay up to date with each other. On the host itself, you will find the data inside Program Data, MySQL, MySQL 5.7, and Data. These are your databases. So it's all the data that comes from all the workstations whenever changes are made. So that's where the data is held. The backup is a little bit different from the client server version since the host does the backup. You have a little tool here called Dispill Backup Server. If you right click on it, you can take a backup right away. You can change the directory. Obviously, we always suggest that you put it somewhere else than on the host. That way, if the host hard drive goes or anything like that happens, you have the backup somewhere else. We can reset up the host and reload the data back in. So we always suggest putting this backup somewhere else than on the C drive of the local machine. But by default, we set it up this way, so at least there is a backup set up. That way, if the computer goes for another reason, like a power supply or anything, at least the hard drive still has the backups and everything we need. For all the workstations and all the setups for client server, all the communications are being done through port 3306. So 3306 is the default port for the MySQL setup database, and sometimes you will run into the odd issues because some antiviruses come with firewalls. So you'll have most of your workstations connecting properly to the host, getting the information, and then you'll start Dispill on another workstation, you'll get connection to database failed. Generally, all the setups are done and every workstation is tested when we do the initial setup, but obviously since people have different antiviruses and different environments, we can run into small issues that a port's getting blocked by an antivirus firewall. So that's definitely something to take a look at, to always look if you have a firewall within your antivirus and if it's possibly blocking. Obviously, these are things we check ourselves when we get a call that a machine's having an issue communicating. But if you're running into an issue over the weekend when we're not open, that's why I made these videos, to make sure people have some information so they could try to troubleshoot themselves to some extent. And if you're ever looking for information regarding your installation, every time we do a client server setup or an update, we add a workstation, anything like that, we will always provide the client server sheet. The client server sheet is, let's open it up. It writes information that we have on the pharmacy and the information on the setup. Which machine is the host, under which IP. Obviously all these are fake. This is not real information, obviously. And we pretty much put all the information, where the backup's located, how many times it runs a day, and how many workstations are set up and how they're set up. So this sheet should be available to you at any point in time. So if you make a change, you do anything, you want to check which one's your host, we're going to provide this every time we do a setup. So if you need information and you're not sure which one's your host, or if they're replacing a machine, you're not sure Dispill's on it, you can always check this sheet. It'll give you an idea, at least of what we set up. Obviously, if you added workstations on your own, we don't have record of them, but obviously you'll be more aware of those than we would at that point. So if you have any questions regarding some of the technical aspects of the client server version, you can give us a call at 1-877-361-1995, or you can email us at support@dispill-USA.com.